Okay, so some of you may recognise this character from the previous course where we covered character design in Toon Boom Animate. We created this character from the ground up. We sketched him, inked him, coloured him, broke all the pieces apart, put them back together and rigged him. So I thought it'd be cool to continue with this character and work on some lip sync with him. What I've done, I've made a few changes to the file. Again, this will be included in with a package, so you can play around with this character. If you remember from the previous course, what we did, the head was kind of one solid mass. But what I've done with this one is what we've just covered with regards to the head. I've kind of cut it apart so that the mouth and the jaw are on separate. The mouth and the jaw are together, and the head is separate. So if we go in on the front view here, double click on this mouth, you can see there we've put it together so we've got some movement in the jaw, and then when we come out, if we double click on the head, you can see we've got this head here. Same in the side view. If we double click here, you'll see we've got some movement in the jaw there. The other thing is, the reason I wanted to do it this way was if I literally just drew the mouth on top of the entire head, when we get to this position where we're opening the mouth, you'd see a bit of the jaw behind, so it was kind of necessary to work this way. It takes a bit more work, but in the long run it's worth it. Also, you'll notice at the moment I double clicked on these mouths, so at the moment we're working with symbols, so we know in Animate version 1 we can't lip sync using symbols, so what we need to do is expand this symbol into drawings so we can animate it from there. So I'll be covering that, how to take the symbol and expand it so we can explode the drawings out and start using those. We'll also be covering in this lesson lip syncing this character as he turns, because I know a lot of people get confused with lip sync anyway, and to try and get the character to turn mid-sentence is something that can be tricky at the best of times. So we're going to cover a nice simple way to do that too. So first off, what we're going to do is just look a bit closer at this character here. As he stands at the moment, he's contained in what we call a master peg, so all the bits and pieces are enclosed in this kind of box. So if we were to roll this up, he's contained in this peg, and then on the first cell we've got the front view. So if I pull out, we've got the front view. In cell 2 we've got the side, cell 3 we've got the back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work with the front and the side view. So we're going to have him talking, and then mid-sentence he's going to turn. So we're not going to worry about the back view. I mean, with the back view you could do things like having the jaw move up and down, or maybe the head tilting to show a bit of movement when he's talking, so he's not so static. But we're just going to concentrate on getting the turn on these two views here. So the first thing we need to look at is, as I was mentioning before, the mouths at the moment, they're contained in symbols, so we need to pop those out of the symbols and turn them into drawings. To be honest, when it comes to lip sync, I tend to work in drawings anyway. I mean, I think in Animate 2 and certainly in Animate Pro 2 you can lip sync with symbols, but to be honest, I prefer to lip sync with drawings. I find there's a bit more flexibility. You can change things on the fly, and then you can contain all those drawings in a symbol, then explode them. With regards to symbols, I work with symbols for the rest of the character, so when I'm rigging this character, I'll create symbols because it keeps everything nice and tidy, everything's packaged together nicely. And for those of you that worked on the previous course where we designed this character, I mean, symbols are especially helpful when we get to this point. You remember the lesson we did on patch articulations, where we had if we want to bend this at the elbow, we created this patch here, so when this part of the arm moves we don't get any black lines overlapping. So when we do this, we've just got a nice clean bend there. So the patch and the parts of the arm are all encased in a symbol. So for the character design, I'll use symbol for that to keep everything nice and packaged, and then for the rigging, everything's neat and tidy. But so far as lip sync, I tend to use just drawings. It's you know, it suits my workflow better. So we'll be working with that. So let's start by breaking these symbols apart. So what we need to do is open this master peg. Now what we've got on the first 3 cells, we've got the front view, the side and the back. So all these layers here, separate layers for the waist, the arms, etc, etc. The neck, this layer, you've got this arrow. Now this contains the head and the mouth. They're all rigged to the neck. So what will happen here, if we select the neck and we move it, the head and the mouth are contained in there. So what we need to do is open this, and we've got the mouth layer just there. So on the first cell we've got the front view, on the next one we've got the side. The next one's empty because, as I say, we're not working on the back view for this, so I've left that empty. We're just going to work on this. So this is a symbol at the moment, this mouth, and you can see in the drawing substitutions we've got different drawings contained in that symbol. So what we need to do to be able to lip sync this in this particular version of Animate, or any version, is we need to expand this. So all we need to do is select the part we need to expand, so we know all the drawings are in here. So what I'm going to do first is double click to go inside, and you'll see we've got 8 cells which contain the 8 mouth shapes. So we've got, if we scroll through, you can see, as we had before, exactly the same mouth shapes designed for this character. Okay, and these are numbered 1 to 8. I haven't done the A, B, C, D, etc. because I'm working with 8 mouth shapes. I know that A equals 1, B is 2, C 3, and so on. So I'm not too fussed with working that way, but if you want to work that way, you know, you can go up to the X sheet and change it that way. So what we're going to do, as it stands, if we explode the symbol as it is now, what it will do, it'll explode all 8 drawings like this. So if I demonstrate that, I've got all 8 frames open, so I'm going to come out, I'm going to open this, I'm going to select it, go to File, let's select that there, Edit, Expand Symbol, and the shortcut is Control B, and you'll see there that I had to come down and select it here and then do it. So if I expand this, what it's done, it's created a new drawing layer beneath. What it's done, it's expanded that symbol. So what it's done, it's exploded it into drawings now across the 8 cells. So if we scroll through, you see this. So it's caused a problem because we know that we've got the turns on here. So on frame 2 we know we're in the side view, and then things start to go a bit funky. It creates different versions lower down in the file. So I'm going to undo this. What we really need to do is go into this mouth file, double click it, and where we've got all these exposed, we need to bring this back to 1. So we're just exposing 1 drawing, but we haven't deleted the rest. They're still in there. We're just exposing 1. So come down and just expose 1 frame, then come out, then select that. Now we're going to expand the symbol, and now you'll see it's just expanded 1 cell. Now it's expanded 1 cell, but the drawings are all in there. So if we come over to drawing substitution, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So let's bring that back to 1. So what we've done, we've turned that into drawings now, and it's kind of acting a bit like a symbol in that it's just taking up 1 cell. So all the drawings are there, they're just tucked away inside this little cell here, so they're all still there, so we can work with that now. So what we need to do is go to the side view of the mouth, double click, and we need to do exactly the same, because at the moment we're exposing all these drawings. So if we come down and just bring it down to 1, come out to the top of the symbol, so we're outside it, we want to select that symbol, edit, expand symbol, or Control B, and what this has done, this has put it in another layer underneath, but what it's done, it's put it on the first cell, which we know is our front view. So if we come here, it's gone all funky again. It's created, you know, it's put it on the front there, and it's changed the position and made it bigger and so on. So what we need to do is move this to here. So what we need to do is actually just select it, make sure we get the right layer. This is the side view. We just need to maneuver that one cell along. So now we have the side view jaw on the side view and the front on the front. They're on different layers. So there we have the front view, there we have the side view. And again, with the side view, it's showing one cell, but those drawings are contained in there. It's acting a bit like a symbol. So if we've got that selected and we come over to the drawing substitution, we can see we have all these there. Now the reason you see in the jaw behind there is because we've still got the original layer intact. So we could actually turn that off, and now we will just see what we need to see. So there we go, there's just the mouths as we need them. So I'm just going to double check the layers here, make sure everything's as it should be. Okay, let's just going to get it to the open position. Okay, I can see a bit of the artwork from behind that head, so I just need to quickly fix this, because we can just see a bit of this flesh colour coming through. So that's just from the artwork behind. So all I need to do is go to the head layer, double click, and all I'm going to do is just bring this through here. Just erase a bit of that flesh colour. We'll see if that works now. So if we select this again, there we go. So when we open the mouth, we can't see any artwork behind. We're all neat and tidy now. So let's put that back to number 1. And of course what we've got now is these two layers. We've got the side view mouths on one layer that's called drawing, probably drawing 1 or 2, and then the front view is on another layer called drawing 1 or 2. So we need to rename these. So this front view one, I'm going to double click in there. I'm just going to rename this mouth front. You have to put an underscore in there, it won't work with a space, so make sure you put an underscore in there. So that's that one done, and then we'll make sure we're on the correct layer, and we'll rename this mouth side. And remember, we turned off the original layer here. So, you know, if we were to move this, you can still see the head behind there. So what I've done is the original layer where we've extracted those symbols from, I'm just turning that off, because these layers are encased in there, so we can shrink this down like so. So what we need to do now, we've expanded those symbols, we've kind of turned them into drawings, but they're all encased a bit like a symbol in that, you know, we can switch them around easy now. So what we need to do is import the dialogue and start the lip sync. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, expand out the timeline so we've got plenty of frames open. And I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to import that same piece of dialogue. So let's come along here. Okay, so we've got the same dialogue in there, the cartoon monster dialogue. So this time the voice will suit this character. So that's good. So what we need to do now is obviously have this character extend to the point of the end of this audio. So at the moment we know we've got these 3 views in the first 3 cells, and then we have nothing. We're just going to have dialogue. So it's going to flick through these and then just play that. So what we need to do is take the side view and the back view and move them out the way. I mean, you could delete those 2 there, but to be honest, I would cut those and paste them to the end. So what we're going to do is just that. So I'm going to select those 2. I'm going to Control X, which will cut. Now what I'm going to do, just before the end of this file with, I mean, it finishes long before here, but near the end here, I'm going to extend the exposure of this front view. So I'm going to come to about here, and I'm going to click F5. So that's exposing it. But now what I'm going to do is hit F6 to keyframe it, just so I know there's no changes happening from the beginning to the end of that pose. And then the 2 frames after the front view, I'm going to click Control V, which is now going to paste in, let's go there, try again, Control V, which is going to paste in those 2 views. The reason I've pasted them in at the end is because we're going to have the character turn mid-sentence, so it was just easier to move the other views to the end, and then what we can do is halfway through this sentence we can scooch the side view across, and then we can work on having him talking and turning mid-sentence. So that's the reason why I put those at the end. We could even delete the last view, which is the back view, so I think I will do that. So all we need to do is just hit delete. So we're just working now with the front and the side view. So let's come all the way to the front now. Okay, so let's open up this peg again and check the layers. So if we open this, okay, so you can see now we have the front mouth is exposed all the way along for the duration of the front view, along with the other pieces. So the mouth is just in one static position. So now we're at the point we were before, so now we can start to sync up those mouth shapes with the audio. So now that we've expanded that symbol and moved the side view along and expanded that symbol, now we can start to work with this audio. So I think what we might do is, let's close this. So this is the end of the front view, this is the beginning of the side view. So what I think I might do is bring this to about here, so this empty space here, just before he speaks again, this is where we'll have him turn, so maybe he's turning to face someone else. So all we need to do is just grab those, bring it back to about here, let's go for about there. Okay, so now we've exposed the front view for this amount of time, and then here we change to the side view, so come all the way to the end, expose this by hitting F5 and F6. and you can see here we've got some debris left over. And what this is, if I open this, go into the mouth layers, you'll see the first part we've just got the front view exposed, but in this part we've got a front and a side mouth. So what we need to do, this piece here, we can select this and we can just hit delete, take that away, and now we've got a smooth transition. So what we've got here is we have the front view snaps into the side view, so that's all nice and tidy now. So it's going to come here and just hit F6 so we can keyframe that. So now we have two separate layers for the front of the mouth and the side of the mouth. So if we come along here, you can see what we need to do is tie this audio in with these, but what we need to do now is split this audio, because if we map it to the mouth shapes at the moment, because the front view of the mouths, we've got 8 mouth positions, so they're going to be labelled 1 to 8, and then the side view of the mouth is going to be labelled 1 to 8. So we need to really split this audio so we can assign the separate layers for each part of the audio. So what we need to do is first go in and split that audio. What we need to do is create a new sound layer. Now what we do here is go to Windows, Toolbars, Timeline View. Now I've already added this on, this here with the little musical symbol. This allows me to add on a sound layer. Now if this isn't available, all you need to do in this timeline view is hit this button here with the 2 arrows. This brings up your toolbar manager, and this will allow you to add any of these buttons onto your toolbar. I mean, I've already got the add sound on there. If it's not on there, it'll be on this side, so all you need to do is highlight it, click this arrow to move it across, and it'll add it onto your toolbar. So if it's not showing up on there, you just need to do that. So I'm going to cancel that because I already have it. So I'm going to click that. So it's created a new sound layer that's completely empty, and what we're going to do is take this portion of dialogue, cut it and paste it onto there so it matches the length of the front view mouths, so we can map the front view mouths to that portion of the dialogue, and then the next portion of dialogue will have the side mouths mapped to that. So all we need to do is come up to the first frame here, and we need to shift select. So I've selected that frame, so I'm going to press shift, and the final frame cell we need, which is going to be the front portion, and all we need to do is just click and drag down onto that layer, and it's going to cut and paste it into that new layer. So here we've got 2 pieces of dialogue. The first one coincides with the front view, then when it snaps and switches to the side view, we have this portion of dialogue. So what we can do here now is we've got the same sentence, but we can map each view to the dialogue, because remember the front view mouths are going to be labelled 1 to 8, and so are the side view, so we need to separate the layers there. So all we need to do now is this layer, this portion of the dialogue, we just need to right click, lip sync, auto lip sync detection, again right click, map lip sync. Make sure you select the correct layer, so this one will be mouth front. So you can see here we've got many layers now, we've got all the arms, the legs, and so on. So we need mouth front, so there it is. So we select that, and we know we need to rename these 1 to 8. Oops. 7, 8. Click OK. Now you can see down in this front view it's mapped out our mouth shapes, and it finishes where we need it to because we've got this break here. Now we need to go up to this layer, do exactly the same. So we right click, lip sync, auto lip sync detection, right click again, lip sync, map lip sync. Now we need to change layers to mouth side, and again we're going to number these 1 to 8. And click that. Now we've got the same here. So when we scroll through, it's talking, talking. So what should happen, enable your sound to make sure you can hear it. When we click this,
a cartoon monster, let me handle that.
There you go. So let's watch this a couple more times just to make sure.
A cartoon monster, let me handle that.
And one more time.
A cartoon monster, let me handle that.
Okay, I think the mouths have mapped out quite nicely. So we can come over to, say, the front view. And what we can do, we can put scrubbing on so we can scrub through. And select the side one in case we need to change there. I think maybe here we could change. So here is going more of an ooh sound, and we want the closed mouth, so maybe we could substitute that. So I'm going to highlight this one, come over and click that one and see if this works. There we go. I think that works quite nicely. Let's watch this again.
A cartoon monster, let me handle that.
Okay. Oh, scrub. Okay, there you go. So you can see with a bit of setting up, getting the character to talk in 2 different angles isn't that difficult. It's just initially getting your head around it. We need to explode those symbols, because remember we can't use symbols in this version of Animate. But saying that, as I've said before, even if I was using Animate Pro, I'd still use drawings. So you know, that's what works best for me. So let's quickly zoom out. Let's look at the whole character here.
A cartoon monster, let me handle that.
I mean, obviously he's, you know, we're concentrating on lip sync, so when you start to move the body, you know, I mean, you could do it with just the head turning if you wanted, or, you know, you can start to move the arms to go along with the lip sync, so you've got a bit of movement there. So you know, I mean, in this lesson we're covering lip sync, so we're covering trying to take out some of the confusion in this. So we've pretty much covered everything we need to for cutout animation lip sync. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to include this file twice, so you'll have the before version, which is the version we had to start with before we exploded the symbol, so you can practice doing that with the file, and then I'll include this file which has all the mouth shapes out on the timeline with the audio thrown in there too. So I'm just going to close down this file now, just so you can see that everything's neat and tidy. So we've got the character in the peg, so we can move this around, resize it, do as we please. And then we have the audio there. This is where we split it. Remember, this was the front view and the side view, but obviously if you're just working in one view, this will just be one sound layer. The other thing about the sound layers over here, this little icon here, the speaker, these are the mute icons, so if you click that you can just mute that layer out altogether. So say you've got a soundtrack, things like that, and you need to fade things out and keep things muted, then you've got that option there as well. So let's bring this back to the start, and I'm just going to finally zoom into the top half, and let's just play that one more time just to double check.
A cartoon monster. Let me handle that.
Okay. So I think that covers just about everything. So I hope that's taken out some of the mystery from lip syncing. We've covered, you know, taking the basic mouth and putting it on a static head symbol, animating that way, and then we've done the version where we moved the jaw, so that's another option, and then this method where we've broke apart the symbol and we've created the turn as well mid-sentence. So that's covered that part as well. You can also do things like you could animate the features inside the head, so while he's talking you could go into the head symbol and maybe move the eyes, tilt the eyebrows, this sort of thing. You could also do a bit of morphing on the mouth. That's something I'm not going to cover in this lesson, because for the style of animation I'm doing here, just the standard cutout animation, we're just flipping between the drawings. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to Animate Pro 2 very briefly and just go through the system for just using symbols. So we're not going to be breaking apart any symbols. This will be, we'll have the mouth shapes embedded into a symbol, but we don't need to expand them. We can just go through the system using that way. So I just want to put that on the end of the video just to you know, make sure we cover that too. So I'm going to pause the video and open this same file again, but this time I'll be in Animate Pro 2. So I've gone and opened our old friend up in Animate Pro 2 this time. So what we're going to do is quickly go over the symbol method of lip sync. So this will be a faster process, literally because we've gone over most of it already. So first thing first, I'm going to bring this timeline out so we can expose enough frames, and we're just going to quickly import in that sound. So there we go, and we're still going to do the switch. So we're mid-sentence, we're still going to have him turning, so we're going to cover that again. The back view I'm just going to delete because we're not going to be using that. So what we've got here, the mouth is a child of the head and the neck. So if the neck moves, the head and the mouth, they all move together. So we're all rigged up to go. In the front view, if we double click, the mouth is now a symbol, and we've got the mouth shapes inside that symbol. So we can leave that as it is, and then on the side view, if we double click, we've got the same again. So we've got all the drawings embedded in our symbol there. So what we're going to do, we're going to switch this character's position kind of about here in the middle of the sentence again. So I'm just going to simply cut all of the side view, which is Control X. Now I'm going to expose the front view to around here. So I'm going to select here, click F5, and then I'm going to keyframe that with F6, so I've got no movement in between. Then I'm going to come to the next empty cell, just hit Control V to paste the side view in. The dialogue finishes here, but I'm going to come to the end maybe about here. It doesn't matter for this purpose. I'm just going to F5 that to expose it and keyframe there. So all the way through we've not got any movement going on there, so we've got the nice switcheroo there when we go into this part. So what we do need now is, obviously we're still flipping between the dialogue, so we need to cut a piece of the dialogue out and put it on a separate layer so we can map the mouth shapes to it. So what we're going to do, come down to here, click the plus button, and we're going to add a new sound layer. So we've got a nice empty sound layer there, and we're going to go to the original sound layer, click the first frame up to the last frame of the front position. So we shift click, drag onto the same position on the next layer. So now we have two separate dialogue layers. So we've got the first part of the sentence, then as he turns we've got the second, and if we go into the neck layer, what we've got the mouth layer there, which is what we'll be working on, so where it will be animated on. So what we need to do now is literally go to the first part of the dialogue. So I'm going to click any cell and then right click, lip sync, auto lip sync detection. So that'll take a second to run through. Then we're going to go lip sync, map lip sync, and now we've got a couple more options. So destination layer we know is going to be the mouth. So symbols in layer, this is a new box. So what we need to do at the moment, it's set to don't use any symbol, but we need to change that to the front mouth position symbol, because we've created a symbol called mouth front. So we need to go in, it's actually called character mouth, so we select that, and it's automatically, I've used the number system on this, so obviously you know if you wanted to set it up with the letters, but as I said before, we've got 8 mouth shapes. I know that which number corresponds to each letter, so I'm not too fussed about that. So I'm going to click OK, and down here you'll see in the mouth layer it's synced up that first part of the sentence with this part of the dialogue. Now we just need to come to the second piece of dialogue and do the same. So we click on it, any cell, right click, lip sync, auto lip sync detection. That'll take a second to work through. Then we're going to come back, lip sync, map the lip sync, and this time what we've got to do here is go to character mouth, and then this part we want character side. Again, we're all good to go there, and our mouths are all done. So if we come in and play this,
A cartoon monster. Let me handle that.
there we go. So that's all taken care of, and that's using the symbol system. So it is a bit quicker than the drawings. In Animate Pro 2 and Animate 2 we can do this. In the previous version of Animate, version 1, we need to expand the symbol into drawings, but it doesn't take more than a minute to expand a symbol. So the workflow isn't really any slower. It's just a tiny different way of working. And again, you can come into here, and you've got the option of flipping these mouth shapes. If you feel that you know something needs a bit of fine tuning, you can come in and substitute your drawings through. So that's not a problem. So let's come zooming in, and what we'll do, we'll scrub this. So we've got the scrub button again. So this is the one where I wanted to change that to the closed mouth position. So let's go maybe this one. There we go. In the side position, I notice I need to trim that piece of the head out again, because this is the same file. I've gone back to the original, so I just need to trim this piece out, which isn't a problem. So let's watch this now.
A cartoon monster. Let me handle that.
Okay, let's one more time.
A cartoon monster. Let me handle that.
So there you go. That's animating, lip sync, using symbols, and also turning the character at the same time there. So I think that just about covers the subject for lip syncing cutout characters. Hopefully it's taken a lot of the mystery out of it for you now, and you can just get in and start animating your characters. So as I say, all these files will be included with the video, so you can play around with them and practice and come up with your own ideas. So have fun with those files. So yeah, keep practicing. Watch the video over a few times if you find there's a couple of little bits that aren't going quite right. It's usually just a case of a tiny little mishap. You know, maybe you're selecting the wrong cell on the wrong layer, something tiny like that. So watch the video a few times, make sure it sinks in, and just have fun with it. So thanks for watching, and in the next lessons we'll start moving on to some more animation.